Drama in Glendale. There's some major accusations of cheating, which resulted in protesting. Why would you protest a motorcycle? Well, you want them disqualified. You want to prove they're running a stroker, a big bore, illegal fuel, something to get them removed from the final standings. And what team had to endure a teardown? Well, it was PRMX Partzilla Kawasaki Hunter Yoder, and the bike came out to be legal. They gotta go home after they tore everything down, spent the money, blah, 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 blah.
We're good, right? Thumbs up, Chief?
Illegal about the motorcycle.
Thank you.
And I've reached out to the team, try to figure out who protested them because it's an anonymous protest. I feel if you're gonna protest, you should be able to publicly come out and share that information saying, hey, this team, this factory team is protesting our privateer team, saying we are protesting. They are being sour sports because their riders are beating my riders and I don't like it. Because that's essentially what is happening. And if I'm going on with a hypothetical, why would a factory team protest some of these privateer teams? Well, because their bikes are fast. Look at Firepower Honda hanging with the Star Yamaha bikes. Look at Club MX hanging with the Star Yamaha bikes, beating the Pro Circuit bikes. Look at PRMX Kawasaki hanging with the factory bikes. These teams that potentially aren't doing anything illegal. However, they have a massive amount of data acquisition that is an incredible advantage to the rest of the field. They could go out there in press day, free practice, and their bike could be running a certain way. They have all this data and all this information that they can actually use to their advantage and make adjustments with that motorcycle, because that information costs a lot of money and a lot of time and development goes into that. That's what makes these bikes so much better than a privateer bike, even a privateer team that still has a larger budget than a box van guy. You might be on par with them during free practice, but come qualifying session 1, boom, they're all of a sudden a half a second faster than you because they were able to implement the information that the bike was giving them during the last session. It's a massive advantage. And that's the issue I have with these privateers versus the factory teams. It's unfair. Talent-wise, yes, there's an advantage. Bike-wise, there's an even massive more advantage. So give it up to Hunter Yoder and the PRMX team for doing nothing wrong and shoving it to some of the factories by going, we've got a competitive motorcycle right out there with Club MX, Firepower Honda. You guys rock. Thank you for giving some hope to all the privateers. And speaking of privateers, if you're just trying to level up your performance, make sure you head over to CoachRobStore.com and check out their energy fuel, because it is a custom sports drink that is formulated to have the correct number of calories and electrolytes to optimize energy and maximize muscle contraction specific to intensity and duration. My favorite is Energy Fuel Boost because it's got caffeine to help the mental fortitude, because we all know Hopper needs more freaking caffeine. Not to mention, it is for high intensity levels right around heart rate zone 3. It comes in 8 flavors. Make sure you stop by CoachRobStore.com and pick up some energy fuel. More drama. It happened in free practice. It was honestly between some fill-in riders on Smart Top Honda, and they were in Group B practice, and so they were running into riders because they were quite a bit faster. And I've looked on the rules at the AMA Supercross 2023 rules, and I can only find fast 40s for qualifying. You get free practice, then you got time qualifying. They wheedle down to top 40 for the night show. The Triple Crown season, the format there is a little bit different, where they whittle down to 18 and then the 4 go to the LCQ. But it doesn't say anything about who gets to be in A, B, and C. And I know, speaking with Davey Coombs, in motocross, to be involved in Group A practice, which is around 40 riders, you have to have qualified the weekend before at the race to be able to be in that session. And there was riders like Hayden Deegan for his first race at the Ironman National that was not put in Group B. He was put in Group A. And I flat out asked Davey Coombs, and he said, well, we make an exception to some factory riders. We leave some fill-in spots because we know they're going to be substantially faster than the Group B privateers. And at first I was a little bit kind of like, oh, that's messed up. But I get it. I understand. You know, you shouldn't have a rider that is 5 seconds a lap faster in a slower qualifying session. It just doesn't make sense. It honestly becomes a danger to the rest of the riders and themselves. If you're on the Autobahn and you're in a Prius in the fast lane and here comes a Lambo doing 175, it's going to become a problem. 100% it's going to become a problem. So from what I have found out at the race, people were able to tell me that the top 23 in points get first dibs in Group A. There should be an exception to that for some of the top privateer and factory teams. If you have a rider, even if he's a fill-in rider like Cole Seeley, he gets dibs in Group A because you know he's going to be faster than the riders in Group B. And if that doesn't work, well, in free practice, it's timed anyway. Why not use those times to say, hey, you're one of the top 23, we're going to put you in Group A, and then move some of the other guys out, because I know you can't have 40 guys on a supercross track at one time. That itself is just dangerous. But there's two ways of going about this. If you're on a factory level team, a factory semi-privateer team, you should have dibs for that Group A, because your riders, talent-wise, are there. I'm being repetitive, and the bike is there. And if they're clearly much slower, then somebody from Group B moves up. And that's why that whole free practice should be addressed as well. But nothing states in the rules, or at least I can't find them, that the top 23 in points get dibs on Group A. It should be changed, and it should be clear. And there was actually something that went on between Cole Seeley. I believe he ran into, of all people, Stank Dog, who's somebody you don't want to mess with. So of course there's going to be an issue there, but it could have been avoided by simply having these top riders moving into Group A where they belong. This is Johnny F. and Hopper. Till next time, keep it WFO. Oh, and by the way, if you look at my eyes, I'm still bloodshot from Saturday. They opened the stadium up a little bit, but man, I saw people busting out in waves, taking their kids and everyone. They weren't able to watch Jet win and Tomac win because the fumes were so bad in the stadium. It was freaking 80 degrees last night. It could have easily opened up that stadium, and it's health for everyone, and it's health for the riders as well, to not have that much fumes just sitting there floating in that stadium. I mean, I love race gas, man. FanFest was awesome. You got to smell that. You know, it's incredible. But in the stadium for everyone, I don't understand why that exhaust wasn't being moved out as clearly. Yes, it was open, but there was still an effect. It was affecting a bunch of people to the point where people were leaving in droves. And that's not good for the sport. That's not a good precedent when you're having guys that don't even want to stay for the final. And I don't believe it's just because of parking. It was a lot because it was making people sick. However, I'm done digressing. I appreciate every single one of you. The subscriber boost has been incredible. Thank you for sticking around. Make sure on your way out you hit that subscribe button and leave a comment. Bro, da 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 wall.